they were $10 a pound, which is not bad for 3 pound lobsters.
Wow.
And I go to a place that has his own little tank in his outside his garage, and he leaves change in a bag, and you just go and he's got a little scale, and you weigh it, and you just leave your money in another
Oh,
little case.
wow. Serve
But
yourself.
he trusts you because I'm guessing when I looked in the change bag, it looked like there was probably $100 in the change bag.
Wow. And he is trusting people.
Yeah,
Yep, absolutely.
and they were very, very lively lobsters. So, anyways, tonight I am really at a disadvantage because I don't have a copy machine, and so let us have a nice quick meeting tonight if we can.
I'm all for that,
Yep.
Dick. Good evening, everyone.
I
Hi,
bet.
Bill.
Mhm.
Hello, Bill.
Hello.
So the first thing is minutes from June 3rd. Are we okay with those?
Yeah, I didn't
Yes.
really review them thoroughly, but I'm sure they're okay if you guys took a
Okay.
look at them.
Colleen, then they're approved.
Okay.
The next one is Colleen's time sheet for 6/14/25. It's a normal 70 hours. Are we okay with that?
That works.
Yes.
And I am too, Colleen, so that's approved.
Okay.
The money turnover is $1,110 this period. From that, $750 is from permits, $310 is from licenses, $50 for fees. And that's it, coming out the $1,110. Are we set with that?
That's good.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Colleen has got a purchase order into Quill, and it's for pens, thick correction tape, post-it note, post-it, flags, soft soap, and copy paper. It totals $127.12. Are we okay with that?
Yeah, I didn't think people use
Yes.
correction tape anymore, but that's
Well,
okay.
that's what I was looking.
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you I have to ask you, do you have a typewriter too?
No, just, I don't know. I tend to use it on stuff I'll print out or whatever. And then if it's just a minor change, it just,
The next one is for a recreational camp for summer of 2025. It's a license for McDuffie. What they do every year. Are we okay with that one?
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I am too, Colleen. That's fine.
okay.
Next one is 3 licenses, food establishment, retail food, and then frozen dessert for wine house. I've got a question when we get on these 2, Colleen. This one goes to December 17th, and the next one for Happy Days goes for December 31st. I wondered what the difference with the
Oh,
end
wait a
dates
minute.
were.
What? Wait a second. Let me just look at those. License issued. Oh, that was when the original licenses were issued last December for Winehouse. And now it just was being extended where it says expires in December. But it was originally because you
Right, but this one, maybe I read it wrong. Usually I make copies, but since I can't make copies here, does it go to December 17th or December 31st?
December 31st. December
Okay.
17th was last year when he first applied.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one we had held up because we were waiting for him to make substantial progress on the septic system, and he does have the tank. Did you get in touch with the plumbing inspector to see if in fact he connected anything up?
I did, and Fred hasn't been over there. And Jim did come in to get plumbing application, but I haven't seen him come back to submit it, and Fred hasn't been over there.
This license, right now we go to what, the 30th of June?
Yes.
What do we want to do? Do we want to grant that and just assume that since he got the plumbing permit, they spent that money to put the tank and the pipe in, that he's going to finish it up?
Dick, why don't you ask Tom Quinlan? Tom's here. He probably has some idea what Fred's doing. Tom, can you hear us?
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to get my profile this time, my video, since I haven't been working. I
Yeah.
did speak with him today. He was in the office. There is no plan for a bathroom or anything inside yet. However, a week from tomorrow, I'm meeting the design professional to, finalize a plan, and I'm assuming they're going to pull a permit for the bathroom and that inside at that point. And there's a few other for the change of use issues that he's going to address with me on a week from Wednesday. But no plumbing permit as of yet.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So do we? I'm not anxious to bring this thing to the 11th hour when Jim has made, the lion's share of the work. At least the tank part is done and the pipes are there. So what he's really doing, he's not going to be doing the toilet. What he's going to do is he's going to be tying in the sink, and I don't know whether he's got a dishwasher or anything, but the kitchen waste is going in. That's set up, and that was run to the edge of the building, and there was a pipe that ran to where his, I'll call it fanny cans. They're not really fanny cans, but his portable toilets, let's call it. So that pipe was there, and he said that he was going to hook up to that. But in reality, I'm not sure what the mechanism, if you look at a portable toilet, it's really, I think, set up to go to flush into its tank and then get pumped out of, a 3 or 4 inch pipe. So I'm not sure how that easily gets hooked up to a septic tank. So what are we going to do with this?
What's he asking for, Dick? An extension until the end of the year?
Well, that's what we said we would do when he was hooked up, but maybe you do it for another month and ask him to come and talk to us to see what he's planning to do. Because part of this was he was supposed to have a plan also, not just put the tank in. He was supposed to have a plan with milestones to get this thing done.
Yeah. Tom, what sort of fixtures do you anticipate him having, putting in on this system?
I'm not sure. It's going to be whatever, I think you'll have a part in it for the sign off when they do submit the final plan for that.
Yeah, he'll have the toilet and the sink in the lavatory. He's probably got a sink in the bar area, right?
Yes.
He might have a miscellaneous.
He told me he was building a toilet addition.
What, Dick? I didn't hear that.
He told me he was building a toilet addition.
Oh, okay.
So it'll probably all have to be accessible. Yeah, have to be accessible and meet all the requirements there. So I don't think it'll be done in a month. I just wanted to just give you a heads up on that.
Yeah, that's really unlikely.
So right
Okay.
now there's no plumbing going into this tank whatsoever.
There is one line that runs, there's a 4-inch line that runs from the building, which is his kitchen waste. So it goes from the east side of the building, goes straight to the tank. And then there's a lateral that, which hits, let's say it hits 10 feet from the tank. And it runs over to that general location of the portable toilet. But it was just it was a lateral with an elbow and a vertical pipe.
My guessing is there's probably a fair amount of plumbing that needs to be done. They got to do vents. They got to do all kind of other details. And like Tom says, it's probably going to take 2 or 3 months for this to get executed in the field, I'm guessing.
Why did that he
What?
does that?
So Dick, why don't we call Tom, why don't we bring Jimmy into the next meeting and have a chit chat with him? That's all.
To get him into a spot that his permit is going to expire. I don't want that to happen.
Right.
So there was going to be the 2,000 gallon tank is in the ground. There was also going to be a 1,500 from the house. Is that right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, in
that's
fact,
that's at a later date when they do the leach field. Right now, he's just using it as a holding tank.
Yeah, which is not, it's not legal. The way the system is designed, there's a 1,500 from the tank, but then because this is a 2,000 gallon tank, he needs a second
Yeah.
tank in series with this. So this is only the first of the 2 tanks, and it would seem that having him get another month's extension or 2 months extension and ask him to come in and tell us what he's doing would be the appropriate way to do it.
Yeah. Again, we're not going to close him down, obviously, but let's have Jim be proactive in the communications end of it with us and come in and chit chat with us. That's all.
So how long do we want to extend his permit?
What's he asking for?
Well, we're the ones that were saying we're only giving him to the 30th of June. And this is just an automatic thing that Colleen's got to say, okay, you did your work, we're going to give you to the end of the year.
Let's get, you want to extend it to Labor Day?
I'm fine with that. So you go to the 1st of
Sure.
September, gives him a chance to get in and talk to us, to give us what he's going to do. It gives enough chance for him to do some work before it's winter time. So we
Yeah.
give him
That's,
to,
I mean,
to the
that's more
1st
than
of,
reasonable.
give him to the 1st of September and ask Colleen to get in touch with him to get on our next agenda.
That's right. Good. That makes
Okay.
sense.
So that's what we decided, Colleen.
Okay,
So the next one is so that's for all 3 of those. The next one is also the same 3. And it's food establishment, retail food, and frozen desserts for Happy Days mini golf to the end of the year. Are we set with that?
Is that establishment in operation now?
It just opened again.
Oh, it did? Okay. Because I know the turf grass out back in the driving range is kind of overgrown, so I'm, okay, so he did just open.
It looks like a putting range rather than a driving range.
Yeah, it looks like it needs some work. Okay.
So we're okay, all 3 of us are okay with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's fine.
okay,
Okay, Colleen.
okay.
The next one is a 10-day emergency beaver permit at 134 Bachelor Street. And they're asking, what Colleen says is they're asking for a partial dam removal. I guess they explain that it's pretty bad flooding, but from, just an aside, if you just go and take part of the dam down from the beaver, that's not going to work at all. If you
Our
don't,
agent
if
on
you don't either
conservation,
remove,
Dick, Dave
to
Desolé, our
do that, he needs
conservation agent, went
conservation
out there the
approval,
other
right?
day. And the water from the backwater from the dam is perilously close to the leach field. And I advised them they ought to put in a beaver deceiver, but apparently they just don't want to do a dam breach and they want to euthanize the beavers.
No,
But
it didn't, I didn't see that. That, what Colleen wrote is there was just gonna be a partial, demolition of the dam, but you think they are gonna get rid of the beavers too?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Which I'm not in favor of. I think putting in a beaver deceiver is the more elegant solution. It's a few extra dollars and people don't want that.
But
Well, but they must realize that next year they'll be doing a similar request.
Of course. That's why the beaver deceiver is the long-term cheap solution.
Right, that's the whole point.
But again, they went through conservation, but the Board of Health is the governing body on this, so Board of Health has to issue the permit.
So do we give the permit and then advise them that we think that this is probably not the permanent solution, that the beaver deceiver is the better solution?
I guess we could write that into the emergency certification, yeah.
We can't
Sure.
demand that he does it, but
Yeah, we
as
could
you
just
say,
include that as a commentary in the discussion, Dick.
yeah.
Again, I would love to
So-
see I would love to see people around town putting these deceivers in and learn to live with the beavers than killing them, breaching dams, and going through the same thing in a couple of years.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
So Colleen, what we're saying is that we're going to approve this. He'll have to tell you when he wants the 10 days to start. And we'd like you to tell him that we think that he's gonna end up repeating this and that we believe the proper solution is to put in the beaver deceiver.
Okay,
Yes.
But the permit conditions clearly say that he can, if he wants, trap the beavers and knock the dam down.
okay,
So that's what the three of us said. Right?
okay.
Correctly and Phil?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Gentlemen, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, who is this?
This is Dan Rayon. That's actually my house you're talking about right now. I am all in favor of the beaver deterring trap and all that to keep the beavers around. But as the solution for now would be to have them removed because the flooding itself is getting worse and worse, and I don't have the time to have that put in at the moment. I am all in favor for that next year if they happen to come back. But right now they're just destroying my yard, and it's a huge inconvenience for me, my animals. It's getting close to my leach field. This is just the quickest solution right now, but later on, like as of next year, like you said, if they come back, I'm all in favor of putting in that deterrence.
We did approve it, and since you're here, you have in fact heard that we think that you will end up redoing it. And as you said, you'd like to try it and see if it works, and you're willing to redo it.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, okay, good luck. Thank you for coming to the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next one is a permit for a new septic tank and a new D-box at 93 Carver Street. What I didn't see, and I should have read it better, is this for a 2-compartment septic tank with a filter?
Who's the designer, Dick?
Well, it's funny, it's already signed off. It actually took the permit, and he has, I forget who looked, since I don't have a copy of it in front of me.
Yeah, John Kopinski sent a letter with it, with the application.
Oh,
Does
from
it say it's a
Title V.
two-compartment tank with a filter, Colleen?
Yeah, yeah, he's got paperwork here with it that, yeah, they mention a two-compartment tank on the application, install a two-compartment tank with D-box. So all replacement tanks, yeah, shall be two-compartment tanks with effluent filters. That's what he
Okay.
attached, innovative engineering.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good, very good.
so we're okay, the three of us are okay with that, Colleen.
Okay,
The next that we have is a Title V at 23 Pine Brook Circle by Robert Norman, and it's a failure. Are we set with that?
Yes.
Set with that?
Yeah,
Okay, Colleen, I am too.
okay.
Next one is complaint. First one is Granby Bowen Gun Club, and it's for trucks going in and out. Colleen, you did some follow-up on that. It turns out you were told that it's just for routine fill that they're bringing in, but
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I'm not, from my standpoint, does any time that anybody brings a truck in and out of anybody's property, does this end up being a Board of Health issue?
I don't think there's any law against it.
No, the only question, this was raised by Mr. Lamoureux through me. And I thought because of the wet issues on that property, some years ago, as I recall, there was a request to document what was being brought in.
There was,
But
there was. They were taking some stuff in, or they were taking some kind of recycled material or something, but I don't think.
I think, Dick, they're enhancing their berms behind the pistol range, the berms.
That's what the guy said, whoever the treasurer that Colleen talked to said. So, but in any event, it looks like it's a complaint. Colleen followed it up, and it turns out it's not a Board of Health issue, that they're just bringing dirt in.
That's right. That's a
Yep.
selectman issue.
Yeah,
Mm.
but if they're putting it in the
And I don't
wetlands,
know.
then it's a conservation commission
That's
issue,
right.
right?
That's right.
Yes.
The next one
Oh.
is 49 Bart. Go ahead.
No, Colleen, did you determine whether or not the club was under new ownership or new management?
Well, the fellow I talked to is the treasurer, Bill Ostman from Connecticut. And he said that, because I used to call, or Deb Mercer would call when they had a truckload or whatever, and, of something coming in. And he said, yes, Deb and I don't know who her husband is, whatever, they're not on the board anymore. So this fellow called and said anytime we had a question, we could call him, and he's the treasurer on the board. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so
they're out.
Merciers aren't involved with the project anymore.
No,
Oh,
Okay. The next one is a complaint from a neighbor at 49 Barton Street. That's the septic system that we have on record as having failed. And what would we there are a few of them that are like that, but we've got one on South Street that's like that. We've got one on the corner of Pleasant Street and Barton Street that's like that. But this one apparently is worse than those others. This one is, my understanding, when the inspector went in, he said, this one is a bad system underwater. And we've had this complaint said 2 years, that's probably true.
What's
Do
the
we-
last correspondence that we sent to these folks?
We sent a letter last year, 1 year ago. Gave them 30 days to submit a design by a registered sanitarian or professional engineer for replacement system. Now, we haven't seen the design. I don't know if Neil's got it, or I don't.
Well,
I'm not
Dick,
sure.
at the very least, we gotta follow up. We should have followed up with a letter months ago, but we better follow up with a letter at the very least.
So what do you think, Lee?
Do we repeat our past, attempt? Or does our friends in Northampton have a different way of perhaps bringing some legal pressure into this? I'm not sure.
Oh, well, you'd have to go to
That would-
DEP. I don't think the Northampton group would do anything. I think DEP'd be the way to go.
Okay. Well, all right. So then that being said, should we send them a letter and CC DEP into the same letter?
Yeah, CC the DEP and advise these folks, if they don't respond in 30 days, then DEP is gonna get involved.
Thinking that since we already gave them 30 days, they don't even bother to send a note in.
Right,
That we tell them that we need them to make an appointment at the next meeting to talk about the repairs and be prepared to submit a timetable on the repair. And if they don't do that, we're going to turn the issue over to the attorney and bring them to court.
right.
Yeah, that's fair.
They wouldn't give them the 30 days, and I think they ought to be talking to us face to face here.
I agree.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only thing that I think is odd about that, I believe that's a rental property, so the occupants are not the owners.
No, it's a son though, I think.
Oh, it is the son of the owner? Okay,
That's what I've heard.
okay, okay.
And that one should be sent by registered mail and regular mail.
Yeah.
We ought to authorize you to send it to us for our, with our signatures on it. Is that what we're doing, Bill and Lee?
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, that sounds like a good procedure.
Okay.
Oh, next week, because I'll be off the rest of the week, I'll send you something, Dick, and if you can
Okay.
look at it.
The next complaint is 76 East Street. Water coming from a drain that the neighbor believes is gray water coming across the street near their well. Can somebody take a look at it?
'76 East. Let's see where that is.
That's on the corner of South and,
Oh, it's right down the street from me. I guess I can go down there. You want me to go down there, guys?
See what we've got there.
All right. 76
Yeah, no,
East.
yeah,
I can
right in
do
your
that.
backyard, Bill.
Yeah, I can walk down. I'll take the bicycle down the street.
Okay, so we'll do that. the,
Oh, I know it. That's Dwight Witter's old property. I know that property. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know that property. Yeah, I'll go chat with the homeowner. So what is the allegation, Colleen? How's it read?
There is water from a drain that comes from across the road. From the, I don't know, it's from the residents across the road. There's, I guess, 75 East Street across the way. That comes across, under the road and is dumping out on his lawn, and it's near his well.
Okay, well,
leave this gray one.
if it's crossing the street, it's probably a town, easement, a drainage easement.
Yes.
But I'll look at it and then we'll talk to Dave DeRocher about it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Charlie, I think I skipped something and it's in here someplace, and that was the regulations that we're gonna look at the next meeting. It's
Yeah,
in someplace in here and I don't have it written down. I just made notes and I know I read it and I didn't write it.
Well, yeah, you're gonna address that next meeting, right?
Right.
Okay,
The next one on discussions is the New Ludlow Road, 43 New Ludlow Road. They're putting on a bedroom suite, including it looks like a living space, a toilet, an addition onto the back of the property. It looks like it was a 3-bedroom house. It's still gonna be a 3-bedroom house. What I said to Colleen was that this is a 40 to 50-year-old system. And when you do that to the house, even though you stay 3 bedrooms, you definitely have done something, in my view, to the livability of the house by putting in a big, go from a small bedroom to a big bedroom suite with a toilet. And my thought is someone ought to at least look, at that age, my septic tank and D-box were both no good. And is this a time that we just say, hey, someone just look at that septic tank and the D-box and see if it's any good as part of this project?
Hi, I'm Mark Georges, the owner of that property.
Yeah.
And I just want to clarify that all we're doing, because what I want to do is I want to take my laundry out of the cellar, and if I don't know if you have the prints in front of you, but I want to, where my existing bedroom is, I want to put in a walk-in closet and the laundry room on the first floor. That's where the bedroom was. Now I just want to extend, the bedroom that we already have. I'm not making a new bedroom. I'm not adding a bathroom. The bathroom was already there. This bedroom was already there. I'm just shifting it, I'm not adding anything new, but,
Well, you're adding a new wing to your house.
I am adding a new wing. Yes, I am. But I'm not adding any, other bathrooms or bedrooms or anything, because I'm taking one away.
So the
But-
reason that I asked that Colleen to let all three of us talk about it, mine definitely is one that says I wasn't looking for a Title V inspection. I was saying someone ought to just poke in and say, is this tank any good? And is the D-box any good? Just look at it. And
Okay.
We just,
I had,
we had it come
I
back.
don't know the name of the
Oh,
company.
yeah, he had Latour Wilson do a look-see, Dick.
Latour Wilson.
It's a 1985 system, Caffarelli. It's 340-foot trenches with a 1,000-gallon tank.
I'm not concerned about I guess he opened up the D-box and found out the system was no good.
Well,
You'd
yeah,
say, gee, it's no good, but I don't expect to find that. I really
no,
expect
the soil should be pretty good there.
It
Mr.
is.
George, is
it's all sand.
yeah, oh, yeah.
it's
Is
designed
your
for a
is your
4-foot
laundry going into a
separation.
dry well or is it going to the system?
It's going in the system.
Okay, well, Dick, if he's moving it, it's going from the system to the system, so there's no net increase in Q.
No, there's not.
I'm just saying that if you look at it, it certainly makes the house more desirable. It's a thing that I just, after this age, I don't understand why someone would say, okay, I'll get someone in and just have them look at it and say it's okay.
We just had it pumped out. He
Yeah.
said it was fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he pumped it on, he's been pumping it on a 2-year schedule, Dick, I believe.
yeah. But like I said, I had this guy, I mean, he came over and he looked at it, and when we pulled the top cover off, and he said, "Oh, your level is perfect where it's supposed to be." It was down, like, I don't know, 6-8 inches. He said that's perfect where it's supposed to be. He said if there was any kind of a problem, it would be up higher or you'd be getting it back.
The lid
but-
meet the.
Yeah, he was saying, I have a paper here from them that, the tank condition satisfactory, meets local and health department codes. Then the service tech was saying operating in proper level.
That's what I was looking for.
Oh,
If you
okay,
could- If you could send that in,
we have
if
it.
you
We
could-
sent it.
Emailed it to
I
Colin.
did.
He already sent it to
I
us, Dick.
se-
We
I
have it
sent
in
it
our
to you
computer.
guys.
He sent
Yeah,
it
I
in.
sent it.
I didn't see, then because I'm at the Cape that I'm not seeing that. Then I don't have a problem. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, I'm
for
sorry.
someone-
Okay, I didn't understand what you were.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, and it wasn't because of the leach field. I wasn't afraid of that. I was just saying, having just gone through it at my house with that tank and that D-box, they were both no good at that age.
Yep,
And
I
I
got it.
just said, gee, it's a good time to be at least looking at it, but you have, and as long as you have, that satisfies my concern.
Okay. So right now, I was working with Tom Quinlan, and so he has the building permit for it. I have that septic pump out report, and I also talked with Dave Desilits. Desilits. Talked with him, and I have a letter, approval on that. So just sounding from what I'm talking about, what I'm hearing is it's approved from the health department as well.
Well, no, the three of us have to do that right
Oh.
now, and we've got to tell Tom that we're not going to ask for anything extra from you. And that's Bill and Lee. I'm fine with that. That we say just as Bill had said that it's phase 3 bedrooms. It started as 3, it's phase 3, and they've looked at the condition of the tank, and we end up with the condition of the tank plus kind of a backdoor answer that we see that the leach field hasn't flooded either because the tank is right. And I'm okay with that, and I think we should tell Tom that he doesn't need any more work from the Board of Health. With Lee and Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the Wilson Latour's report. And as Bill pointed out, that should be a good sand area. So it sounds like all the pieces are in place. And again, we're not increasing, we're not adding a bedroom and or an additional bath. So we should be okay.
What do you think? You concur?
Yeah, we're good. Everything's good, Dick.
Okay, Tom, we're all set then. We don't need anything more from the Board of Health standpoint. Even if Tom can't hear us, Colleen, you can let him know.
Yeah,
I
he
saw
gave
his
us
picture.
he gave you the thumbs up here, so.
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
okay.
Thank you, though.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good luck with your project.
Okay.
Yeah, bye now.
Thank you.
Okay, good night. The next one is Colleen telling us that all invoices for 2025 have to be in by 7/11. Now, Bill, as long as let's say that, if that's Colleen, that's not our next meeting, but
No,
that is gonna be is that? Help me, Colleen, with a calendar. Are we
Um,
going to be in a conflict with Bill's meeting on that?
no, the 11th is, Friday, the 11th so I was getting those in by the next not the next meeting, but the one after that, the middle of July. That's usually when we do the invoices. So
Okay,
that meeting
So
is gonna
we're-
be the 15th. So I think, Bill should be good because Bill's
we,
meeting is
yeah, we
probably.
meet the 8th, we meet
the
the 8th,
8th,
Dick. We
right?
meet the 8th, yeah.
Okay, so we're okay, okay.
Yep.
But are we saying typically at this meeting, that in the last couple of years, we've said that there won't be any encumbrances allowed. Are we gonna say that? Now we've got it, Chris Martin's gone, but he, I think gone. But Chris was saying in the past few years, at least 2 years, saying there really is no reason other than people just not getting their bills in, and it causes a lot of grief to have encumbrances. So are we also gonna say we're just not accepting them for the board?
So our invoices have to be in by the 11th of July for FY 25?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that means that.
Yeah.
That means that the building inspector, I mean, the plumbing inspector and also animal inspector as well.
Oh.
So Colleen, if you could let them know,
I will, yeah, and Lynn.
and Lynn too, that's right.
Right. Okay, thank you.
So okay, we only have one more, then I want to ask Tom something, but Colleen has asked that we allow her to carry over 46 and a half hours, vacation hours for next year. Colleen, are we allowed to do that?
Yes. Mhm.
So does it cause anybody any trouble? As it turns out, since
No.
you do this every year, you really always take the right vacation. It's just these hours that keep going forever and ever.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't roll over any, I don't think last year. The year before I
Really?
did. But I
Okay.
didn't, yeah. But this year, yes, I have taken little, but I'm going to be using it for sure. So it won't
I
keep
don't have a
going.
problem with the amount that we ask Colleen to be flexible. As for Colleen to ask us to be flexible here, and my view that it's a no-brainer.
of course,
Bill and Lee, what do you thought?
of course. Colleen,
Absolutely.
how many years did it take you to accrue the 46 and a half?
Oh, no, every year I just get the 2 weeks, but so it's just a matter of that I didn't take much vacation, so.
Oh, I see. Okay. So the
Yeah.
point is the fact that we have the fiscal year ending June 30th creates a bit of a problem because it's in the middle of vacation season.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem, Dick. That's fine. That's fine.
Mhm.
Thank you with that.
Okay,
Tom, going
thanks.
back to you, that we've acted last meeting, we gave Colleen the sign off authority for the plumbing inspector work, but you guys were supposed to get back to us and tell us how the finances were gonna be held, were gonna be.
Please re-enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
I'm not sure who's doing that, but I don't, in fact, I don't even see it.
Mm.
But, okay, that, Tom, there's an issue that you guys were gonna work on, how the building, how the plumbing inspector budget gets held, gets accounted for, whether it stays with us, by how the inspection fees get set. So the whole financial part of this was left up in the air, and you guys were gonna get back to us. so it all fit together.
We actually, Mr. Mayor and I talked with Chris and basically said it goes in the same, same pots or whatever. So I'm going to speak with the new administrators getting settled in, and I'll speak to her to make sure, the best way. He said it's not an issue because it went into a separate line anyway.
Okay.
But any suggestions you want them to do it, let me know, and because I'll have to put the turnover in through the program, for it. However you suggest you want to do it.
Yeah, for instance, the place that you could get into tons of trouble is, let's say we carry the budget that we've just submitted, that's based on an inspection rate of $35 per, actually, I think it may be fixed, whatever he's got it set up to do, but it's the current rate. And let's assume that he says, this is crazy, that this should be gone, we should move that to $100. And you guys say, okay, that's what the new fee's gonna be. And you guys set the fees and we set the budget, and they don't match together. That comes out tons of trouble for us.
Gotcha. So I'll definitely let anything they decide, I'll let Colleen know for sure. But they're all set. I had gone, before the select board with the fees for the gas prior in that. But I know the two plumbing and gas inspectors would like a little more money. So next year we're probably going to have to go ask, and if I have your support when we go, that'd be great.
Yeah, I would guess that it needs to be, if you're gonna keep these people working for us, you can't have them work for free. And that's $35 is working for free. It
Yeah,
really is.
It is. I wish they had said it before I went in front of the board, a month ago, that they wanted it,
Yeah.
but he mentioned it the other day. So I said, we're going to have to get on the agenda and all go in and support it, next year if we could.
Yeah. So what else do we have here, folks?
We have two folks in the corner, Irish. We have Irish here.
Yeah, you have the Sheridans from 74 Aldrich.
Yes.
I
How
thought-
can we help you?
Well, Neil Jackson had told us he got the plan in for this week's meeting, the revised plan. You folks were out on the 21st, was it? Or the 30th of May, looking at the property and talked with Neil about revising the plan. Told me a week ago we revised it. So my understanding was it was on for tonight. In fact, we got an invitation to the Zoom for tonight. So we're just waiting for that to come up.
What happens is I am away for 4 weeks. Well, it's actually not a full 4 weeks, and I'm the one that does the reviews. And Colleen was supposed to let people know that this last week wouldn't have any septic system reviews.
Yeah, I did let Neil know. I don't know.
Because Neil isn't on the agenda.
No, yes, I didn't. Yeah, I did let them know. Neil.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my wife. That's where the misunderstanding comes from, because we were understanding that you were going to be at the Cape, but that Neil could submit it. So
Right,
that's
he did
why-
submit it. He submitted it electronically. Is it a problem that the 2 weeks is gonna cause a lot of trouble for you? That when I look
For
at
us,
the design,
yeah.
he made the design exactly what we had suggested that he do. So it's not a problem with the design.
The our property was going to be listed for this weekend, based on our understanding. It was going to be that, even though you were away, that it was going to be submitted and that it was in line with what everybody had reviewed. So it getting held up, yeah, the realtor can't put it on, is reluctant to put it on, and I understand why, without the plan being approved. So that does set us back considerably into the real estate season. Yeah.
Let's figure out how we resolve that. Bill and Lee, how do we?
Dick, was this the property you and I did the deep hole observation on?
It is. And what Neil did is it already had a pump. We already had gone through the sizing. That was all done. We had an issue with not knowing whether the soil that we knew enough with the soil, with the slope going up in the back. We did that. What we did is go out and say, you know, by using turning the orientation around, it makes it so we didn't have to put all that fill in. We didn't have to build a wall. We made it so it basically blends in with the property without really being able to see it. It reduced the cost. It changed the appearance. It was a big change on the impact of the property.
That's right.
And
The original
neighbor was there,
required a
and the neighbor
retaining
was
wall,
very
I
happy
believe.
not to have a wall along his driveway. So it was
Right.
a win-win solution. But how do we get this thing?
Colleen,
You know
can you
what
send
we
Dick an
could
electronic
do?
copy down the Cape?
I do. I could look at it. I did
Yeah.
look at the thing. I just didn't have. I don't have the time to do it. But I don't, since I have reviewed it and done the technical part of it already, I don't mind if we said we've approved the design, and if we had to get changes, if we had to get changes done, we could get changes done. But I don't think there's any changes. It's a pump. Neil's already got the thing set up for the water table. I don't think there's going to be any changes. But I don't want to leave this thing in a spot that at a time when you can move a house, that we should be losing 2 weeks on that.
Dick, did he make his breakout distances horizontally?
It looked to me like he did.
Okay.
You know, I didn't go through all of it, but it looked to me like it was fine. It doesn't need to have a reserved area because it's a repair.
Right.
I think that what we do is we could approve the design here. We just approve it. The owner can say, we've got an approved septic system design, Title V septic system design. And then by the time it gets time to construct, it's not going to get built in the next 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right.
But what it does is it ends up with the sticking point being there. The real estate agent can say it's an approved design.
Right. If it needs technical tweaks, we can have it tweaked. That's all.
Okay.
Lee, what are you thinking? I don't want to leave these people hanging like that.
No, but it's the best of both worlds.
Okay. So Colleen, we're going to say that this design is approved.
Okay.
And so now that becomes a public record. It's in our thing. It's in our record that it's approved. So you and your real estate agent can say that it's an approved Title V repair for the property. And then you can actually go, if you want to go out and get prices and things, you can get prices. You can do all sorts of stuff. And by the time you're ready to build it, I'll go through the rest of it till I find tooth home. But I know it's not good. I know the way Neil works, and I know, he was already close to there. And after he talked with us, he said, I'll make the change. And when Neil makes the changes, he makes the changes. It's not filled with surprises. And as a board, we don't tell him that we suggest these changes and we agree, and then he makes the changes and we say, we changed our mind. That's not what we do.
Oh, we appreciate that very much.
Oh, that could at least get you and your real estate people and you can get on with your sales effort and whatever loose ends there are at our end, and we'll take care of it. But you can truthfully say it's been approved.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
you
much.
taking care of that tonight.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, bye now.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Night.
good night. Now, Are we at the end of what we're gonna be discussing? We have Donna Wiley there. Well, I am not hearing you, Donna.
Don, you have to unmute, ma'am. You gotta unmute
I
your
don't have
computer.
you muted. I haven't.
No voice.
Gotta
But
hit,
you have to unmute.
yeah, she has to unmute herself there. Uh-oh. Sounds like her
Do
microphone.
we know what
might
this
not be
is
working.
in reference to?
I don't.
Yeah, you know, I don't see any icon for muting with her
No,
either.
I don't either.
Sounds like her
So I think
microphone.
unfortunately, Donna, you've got a problem. You could maybe call in, but we're ready to close for the night, but you're not on the agenda. We don't even know what you want to be talking about. And I don't know that you hear us.
Must have a driver problem on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our hands are tied on this one.
Yeah.
We can't reach out and undo that,
Yeah, okay.
situation, unfortunately.
And I can't, when I use my icon to see her,
Oh,
she's calling in.
She's
So
calling
let's
in.
see. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Awesome. Okay. Very sorry for that technical
Good,
glitch.
good,
I
good.
apologize for that. So thank you for making the time and for your patience while I got signed in from another device. I was actually at the Conservation Commission meeting last week, and Mr. Shaheen is the one that suggested that this was the right venue to bring my question about the Red Fire Farm construction project at 34 Carver Street. I'm not a direct abutter, but I'm right behind the direct abutters, and I understand that I am in an aquifer recharge area. And I just want to make sure that the septic and the well projects that are going forth over there are not going to have an impact on my property. Is this the right venue to speak about that and make sure that's being attended to?
Yeah. Yes, Dick, Donna and a bunch of her colleagues from the Carver Street area came before Conservation last Tuesday. And I did ask her to attend this meeting. And it does appear that Red Fire is in the zone 2. And of course, the zone 2 is kind of like a paper zone because those public water supply wells have yet to be built. And of course, that was delineated about 40 years ago, but that's beside the point. But Dick, she might want to know, what's the status of the Red Fire Farm septic review at this point?
It has not been submitted for review, but other than what we've seen as a board, a question would be, I guess that Tom is here, and I think that's a zoning issue. The first one is a zoning issue. Tom, and you probably don't know about it, but some time ago, like Bill said, 40 years ago, that section of town ended up being designated as a potential water source for the town, for drinking water. And so they've got an area that's delineated. And Bill, from our standpoint, they talk about the size of the lots, I believe, is what happens. I think the lots have to be 2 acres or something in that area, but
I think
I'm
60,
not sure how
I
it's
think,
handled
yeah, I
because
think
certainly
acre and a half, but you're right. That whole criterion is focused on regular residential construction, not commercial construction. And the intent is to minimize the amount of nitrogen loading on the land. Now, the interesting thing about being next to a farm my opinion is the amount of nitrogen you get out of a leach field is a drop in the bucket compared with the nitrogen you get from farming operations.
Right, and that's what we talked about at the
Right.
last meeting that they were at. That is, because we said that we weren't gonna make that system be a nitrogen reduction system because it's minuscule compared to the nitrogen that they're putting all over the surface.
Right.
So I think there are a couple, there are a couple issues. One is the one that Tom's gonna end up with. When I say Tom, you can't see, I don't think, Donna, but maybe you can, that our building inspector is on with us. And he is the zoning enforcement officer. And so I question, as I look at the whole area, the whole development that Alan Katawis has, the Sapolsky, the Shalasky properties, I think those are all 1 acre lots. I don't think they're 1.5 acre lots. I'm not positive. And I'm not sure where the delineation occurs for the groundwater discharge area. And I'm not sure, when I look at the map, I'm not sure what those do. However, if you look at your well, it's a different story. The intent at the time, 40 years ago, was that was going to be a shallow water supply system. So basically, all of the water that's in the high water table area and sitting in sand and gravel would be available to take drinking water out of for the whole town. So since then, the town has put a graveling operation in that area. But your well, I believe your well is a bedrock well, which is not, it is not the same aquifer that they're talking about in this groundwater recharge area. And if you also look at, I'm not sure where your house is, but if you look at where this system is, then I haven't seen a groundwater gradient drawing, but water goes from the high areas to the low areas. So if you look at the wetlands that are to the
Actually,
south
Dick,
of
there's a good sized perennial stream just south of this Red Fire Farm site. So I'm guessing that the upper aquifer flows to the south.
yeah, it should flow to the south. And basically it should be flowing in the same direction. I think that at that point, I think that's Stony Brook there. I'm not sure that that's what it's called at that point.
It's a tributary of Stony Brook, yes.
So that should be the direction that leachate would end up going in. So I'm not sure where your house is compared to that. But
Well, we're on the opposite side of Carver Street, behind the actual abutters on Meadow Glen. So, there's a whole row of houses in between us. I really don't know which way that water flows on the brook. I don't know, but if you guys are watching this stuff, I guess I'm going to be satisfied with that. I'm just nervous of a rubber stamp on it without somebody looking at that and making sure it's not going to impact the rest of us or that aquifer recharge.
I think we're going to have to see that the next time we talk with those people. When I do the review, Bill and Lee, I'm going to have to ask them to add in that. In fact, Colleen, maybe you could reach out to them and tell them that their design has to understand and include the protection that's required for that recharge area. You can
Okay,
just tell them that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Dick, the curious technical point is supposedly the edge of their leach field will be 146 feet minimum from their proposed public water supply well. And the public water supply well is southeast of the proposed leach field.
Right.
So it's kind of right in the path. So if they're going to pollute anyone, it's going to be themselves.
Their water supply is going to be a bedrock well, not the shallow aquifer.
Right.
They'll be sealed so they don't mix the two water supplies.
Yeah, hopefully in
But
practice.
yes, Donna, that is something that we absolutely will have to. We've got Tom is right here. That the zoning part is his world. And then when I look at the septic system design, I'll make sure that they comply with the regulations.
Awesome.
In reality, is it ever going to be there? You're probably looking at protection for the water supply of the rest of the town. And my guess, it's not what I guess, my engineering belief is that it's not going to have anything to do with your well.
Okay.
But we should be saying, hey, that this is a legitimate thing in the town. If the town doesn't want that anymore, we should abandon the classification and let people build the way they do in the rest of the town.
That's
And
right.
if it's not something we abandon, then we should be following the rules that are set forth for it. And those are the two reasonable approaches.
Right.
Well, we'll rely on you guys to take it from here, but I
Okay.
appreciate you hearing the question and following up with them. That's awesome.
Okay, Donna, thank you.
Okay.
Good to see you again. Thanks for coming in.
For the information, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night now.
Thank you for bearing it with us, for trying to get your
was very-
voice on.
Interesting information.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Good night now.
So,
Bye-bye.
well,
Thank
Tom,
you.
that's probably something that you don't even know about right now.
No, did not. And one other reason I wanted to come on was just to give you a heads up. There was a permit issued prior to me taking over, and there isn't even a well in there yet with a water test or anything. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I would have, definitely required that.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. They did tell us that there was a foundation permit in there, but that's what they said. There was a foundation permit. Our concern, and we've expressed it to them, is that at least we believe that they ended up doing their land use, whatever they call it, grants or payments or whatever the state does, that instead of looking at the property and say, this is what we want to do with the property in terms of commercial operation, and start with an engineer and say, what do we need for space and the whole thing with this, and then come up with how much you're going to try to turn over the state. They didn't do it. They did it backwards and say, we're going to turn so much over, and then came to the Board of Health and say, hey, we want you guys to change what you want because we don't want to get back to more of that land that we need. And as a board, we don't think that's the right way to be doing things. You do it, several of us here have run projects, and that's, you don't do that backwards. You do it in your planning stage and figure out what you're going to do, and then you don't go and say, "Oh, the devil made me do it. Now you guys fix it."
Well, they're arguing that the project was grant driven. It was grant money driven. That's the problem.
Yeah. So anyways, it's going to be done. It's going to be done right. It's not going to be done because someone says, too bad, we got our money from whoever, from a grant or the state or whatever, and they put this restriction on it. So now all the other rules are going to change and we're going to cut corners because we took too much grant money. Well, that's not gonna be what happens. We're gonna do it the right way. And now that we understand, well, I don't understand, we're gonna, and I'm not the zoning person, so before they get through my stage of the review, now I will ask and say, hey, you have to go through our zoning officer and figure out what it takes to comply.
Tom, have they applied for a planning board hearing yet?
No, I actually got to speak with, oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget his name now. He's the, works on the planning, group there. Anyway, he called today about a couple things going on. And we're gonna get together on it, but he agreed that I'm gonna send them a letter because they agreed to at least do a site plan approval, and we haven't had that submitted yet. But we went over the bylaws and that, and he agreed with me that that's gotta be done. Ken, call me whatever it is, I believe.
The Pioneer Valley
Yeah.
guy. Yes, I know who you
Yeah,
mean.
you're lucky to have him. He's very knowledgeable.
Good.
He's
That's good.
excellent. So he had called on another situation with me, and we discussed it for a while and looked it up, and they still need to do site plan approval. The parking's gonna be, one of the big things. So he said, yeah, get that letter right out. You're right with that. So I'll get that right out tomorrow.
Wow, okay, good. Okay, folks.
That, then we can go, and I'll go with the rest of my vacation, and hopefully
Enjoy
Enjoy.
the fishing, Dick.
Enjoy.
Yes.
it was, we got a few fish yesterday, and today we started off great. First cast, I had 2 fish on, and that was the last fish we got. And
Was it a keeper?
actually, the ones yesterday were keepers. We don't take any
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
There are too few striped bass around, and the limit on what you can keep is like 1 fish per person. That's 28 to 31 inches or something. It may be 32. I'm not sure it is. When you don't take any, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And,
Okay, that's good.
right,
We had some
right.
fun. We had some fun anyway.
So anyway, we're having a good time, and I think the wind's going to blow on Thursday. So
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Anyway, thank
Okay,
you,
well, good
everybody.
evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Okay.
All right,
Thanks
folks.
for coming,
Thank
Tom.
you.
We really enjoy having you with us, and I know it makes you give up some time that you can spend in a different way, but I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tom actually attends conservation meetings in person, Dick.
Wow.
That's unbelievable, Tom. Thank you for doing that. Really, thank you.
So have a good night, everybody.
Okay, thank you all. Bye now.
So, take care.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.